Okay, so if you were able to get the Hello World running on your device, then congratulations, that's your first Android application. Now, of course, that is not very exciting by any means, so let's see what other things we could do with this. Um, let's try maybe taking this, what we've done here, this Hello World, and allowing the user to maybe type in some text and say hello and perhaps a name, right? So the user could then choose which name they want to put in there, decide who they want to say hello to. So in order to do that, what we could do is, well, first we'll need a text box. So the text box is the basic way in which users are able to type in text essentially. So drag out a text box on the screen there. Now let's actually pull up this application so we'll actually be able to see what we're doing. It. So again, I'm going to scan this QR code. Pull this application up on the device. So you'll see here that now we have this text box where we could type stuff in. Okay, so let's go. And well, first, since whoever we're saying hello to will be in this text box, we can first get rid of hello world. So let's delete that and just say hello. Okay. Now, the next thing is, so the user will type in something into this text box, and we'll need a way to trigger the device to say hello, whoever. So the next thing we'll need is a button. So we'll say drag this button out here, and we'll say let's give this button some text. So we'll say hello. Okay. So say hello. So hello, user will enter, and then click say hello. Now it'd be cool if you could actually have the device maybe say that out loud. So we could actually do that. We go to, I believe it's in media. Yes. So text to speech. Here we have in this media, you have camcorder, which does some video capabilities, camera, image picker, player, sound, a number of different things. So we're going to use this text to speech. So what will happen is the device will take whatever you enter here, you click say hello, and then it will say that. So let's drag this text to speech out here. And you'll notice that when I dragged it out to there, it didn't show anything. It doesn't pull up in this screen because this is actually, it's a what's called a non-visible component. So there's several non-visible components that you could drag out here, like databases, a number of these. So this is just kind of a place that will hold that text, and then will activate the audio capabilities on the phone. So I think that's everything we need here in order for this to work. But now we have to actually program that logic. So that's where these blocks come in. So go in the upper right hand corner and click on blocks. You'll see in this left hand pane that there's all the components here that we dragged out. So we have the label, we have the text box one, button, text to speech. These are now we could use these to program what we want to do with these, right? So the first thing we'll do is we'll take text box one, and we want to get that text. So we'll say text box one text box 1 text. So this is what we'll get, the text of whatever we pull in there. The next thing we want to do is take the text to speech. Say call text to speech speak message. And so we want this text to speech to speak hello and then whatever is in the text here. So we need to put the text hello here. So if you go up here in these built-in components, text, I'm just going to use this, say hello. And now we need a way to, well, we need a way to connect these two. So there's a method in here called join. So we're going to join hello, whatever text we have. And you'll see that basically the programming in this is just you're snapping together blocks like puzzle pieces. And this is helpful because you'll see that, well, often if the puzzle pieces, if there's no way of connecting them like here, then that tells you that you'll probably need some other block in order to make that work. And things that don't connect or shouldn't connect, the program won't allow you to. So if it snaps into place, then you know you're on the right track. So then this will join, right? Connect hello and then whatever we put in the text box. And then that's going to essentially be our message, okay? So now we need a way to trigger this. So what we'll do is we'll take that button and then we'll use this event handler. When button 1 is clicked, do this. Let's drag this out here. So, and we will just take this whole block and we'll throw it in there. So now, when button 1 is clicked, we're saying call this speak method and create this message hello and then whatever we have in the text box. So let's try that. Let's see if that works. So let's do this up. I'm going to do hello, John. I'm going to click say hello. See if the volume here.
Hello, John.
Okay, so you'll see that was pretty simple, but this is just a good example of the capabilities that App Inventor has, the text-to-speech. Next, we'll use the speech recognizer. That's a pretty cool feature. So I would recommend doing some simple apps like this with your students just to get them kind of up and running and understand how some of this works. So with that, let's try something different. Let's try the speech recognizer. Now, you'll notice that this is screen 1, right? So it's going to be very common for you to have multiple screens. So I'm going to show you how to add a screen and how to navigate between the two, or several. So let's go up here and you see this add screen. Okay? So we're going to add screen and we're going to call it screen name 2. Now, one thing to note, something that's very important, and this is something that kind of could mess you up if you don't realize this, is that screen 1 will be the screen that will load first. That seems logical. However, what happens is sometimes people use screen 1 and they do something, some other screen that is not the loading screen, and then they'll try to create a loading screen. And unfortunately, there's no way to set a different screen other than what's labeled screen 1 as the loading screen. So make sure whatever screen you want to show up first on your application is what's labeled screen 1, because there's no way to change that later. Well, at least not in this interface. So we're going to call this next screen screen 2. That's fine. And we're going to click OK. And that should create screen 2. So you'll see screen 2 is pulled up here. Now, what we want to do here is, again, we'll go to this media and we'll do speech recognizer. I'm going to pull this out. And then how about we need some way to take what we speak into the device and print it out on screen. So for that, we're going to use a label. And to begin with, we won't have anything in the label. We'll just have a blank label up there. And then what we'll want to do is have whatever we say print out to the screen. So we'll probably also need a button in order to, again, trigger this. So say the button, and then we'll call this record. Now if we go into blocks, this button, label, and speech recognizer. So let's take a look at what speech recognizer gives us. So when speech recognizer, after getting text, take the result, do. Okay. So this basically is saying that when the speech recognizer is done getting the text that you basically speak into the device, it will do something after getting that text. So that sounds like something we'll need, right? So we'll drag that out. The next thing is, let's see, speech recognizer. We'll get the result. So speech recognizer result. We'll also probably need that. Okay. Next thing is we'll take the label and we're going to set label text to whatever's in the speech recognizer. That should then print out whatever's in the text. Right, and then when speech recognizer after getting text do, we'll also probably need this call. Okay. So let's take this button 1. When button 1 clicked, call the speech recognizer. There we go. So what this is saying is it says when we click button 1, call the speech recognizer. Speech recognizer will then allow you to speak into the phone. Then once it's done, right, after it's done getting the text, it will then print this out into label 1. So back to designer, let's go to label 1. Let's increase the font size here so that we'll be able to see it. Right. So let's see what happens. Pull up visor. See what's going on. Now if I click record, hello world. You'll see it printed out hello world. Okay, that's pretty cool. So let's try that again. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. See if that works. And it actually worked. So again, this is a pretty cool little feature that you could do with your students that once they start to see this actually in action, they get really excited because they've, it's pretty simple for them to get the phone to do something. So again, just get them to explore these various features and play around with it. drag stuff out onto the screen, see what it does. And yeah, they'll be up and running in no time. So the next thing we'll do is we are going to actually take a look at one of the code challenges here. So code challenge 1 is actually to make a slideshow. And how they do it, how they suggest to do it in Technovation, it works, and it's actually a good exercise to show how to navigate between screens. However, what is not very clear, and you only find this out after it's too late, is that App Inventor, the more screens you add, the app starts to slow down quite a bit. And of course, it depends on what you're doing on those screens. However, once you start to get into 15 to 20 screens, things could start to slow down to where the app becomes unusable. So this method of doing a slideshow where each screen has an image and you're navigating between them, this is not a very good way to build this. So I'm going to show you kind of a better way to do it where you're just using one screen. But it's just note that you want to try to keep the number of screens that you do add to App Inventor to a minimum. So, and in the next few tutorials, we'll discuss how to kind of limit the number of screens and actually reuse screens for different purposes. So with that, let's try to create this slideshow.